And if the top is not obsessed, it'll be flavor of the month, program of the year. So it has to start there.
Hello, everybody. This is Jake Stenziano, host of the Wheelbarrow Profits Podcast, here with my co-host, the multifamily mentor, the coach, chef, father, six, best-selling author. In studio with me today, the G-Daddy, Gino Barbaro. Gino, how's it going?
Mr. Stenziano, I'm in the lair. I'm surrounded by all these lights. I wish the lights would do a little bit for my complexion, man. It ain't helping me out, but awesome weekend. Awesome 4th of July. We had a great time. The whole family's here. I want to say thank you to the Mrs. Stenziano for putting up with us. When we come over, we take over the house with all the kids, but it was a great weekend. How you doing?
Doing great. Great 4th, and really excited about today's show because this is going to be an expansion on our blue ocean strategy. We always talk about how important customer service is to the B and C place when it comes to apartments. And so we're very delighted. Today's guest is John DiJulius. John is the authority on world-class customer experience. Today, he will demonstrate how you can make customer service your single biggest competitive advantage, become the brand customers cannot live without, and make price irrelevant. So without further ado, John, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, great to be on.
Hey, so what I want to know is how you've been able to take companies and make customer service their competitive advantage.
You know, it's just really having that obsession, and it starts at the top. The senior leader. If you think about all the great companies that are well known for customer service, from we talked about a little bit already before, Chick-fil-A, Disney, Nordstrom's, Zappos, Apple, Starbucks. You can tell why. Walt Disney, Truett Cathy, Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, Howard Schultz, Tony Hsieh. They are obsessed with customer experience. And if the top is not obsessed, it'll be flavor of the month, program of the year. So it has to start there.
I love that. So love your customers. That's the first thing, I think. And if you love your customers and you want to add value to your customers, I think to me, that's one of the most important things that you can do for your business. Now, how did you get started, John? Give us a little bit about your background. How did you get into business?
Gino, I might change one thing there. I really think it starts with, and I think you guys do a good job of it, loving your employees, right? I think you gotta love your employees. And I've never studied a world-class customer service company that wasn't world-class to work for and with. And for is horizontal leadership down, but with is that they make sure that, no one quits a company, but they'll quit, the people next to them that they can't stand working with, or they're negative, or they're energy suckers. So I think that's really key. And then almost the external customer just, it happens on its own if everyone's taking care of the internal.
So John, didn't Herb Kelleher say that from Southwest? Did he say employee, customer, and then shareholder? That's the top three you should love first. You should love your employee first, and then your customer, and then ultimately your shareholder. Because if you take care of your employees will take care of your customers, and then your customers will reward your shareholders. So I second that notion. That's awesome. I love that. That's great.
I would add the community in there too. So ours is team member, customer, and community. And I think especially with all the craziness going on today, social responsibility is so important. I think, social service is almost as prevalent as team and customer, and that we have to, be good social community people and support and make statements and do the right thing as a company today.
Yeah, and I just want to, and you bring up a great point. I want to give a shout out to a member of our team, Jennifer Outland, because this is the first year in Knox County that we were named a top place to work. So always shouting out the team members. Jennifer did a fantastic job with that. And I think you're completely right. It starts with your people, because your people have to be bought in to be able to take care of your customers. So that's a great point. Yeah.
So John,
it's experience on the inside is experience on the outside.
How did you get involved, and how did you fall in love with the customer service journey? How did you fall in love with it?
I don't know, sheer accident, probably. When we opened, me and my wife opened a very small 900 square foot salon almost 30 years ago. And we had the three no's: no customers, no employees, no money. And in every direction, you could throw a rock and hit salons, on the strip we were on. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't outbuild them. We couldn't outbuild nicer facilities. We couldn't out advertise them. We probably, our technical ability was as good, but it probably wasn't, blowing any way. So we wanted to create such an exceptional experience. And we didn't want to be known as the best salon experience. So this is a really point in our history early on. We wanted to be the best experience that you or your wife had today. And I believe so many companies will brag and pound their chest that, we're the best in our industry, right? Well, that may or may not be true, but it also may be totally irrelevant, right? So if your wife comes into our salon today, she then doesn't go across the street to any of our competitors to compare. She doesn't need a salon for a few weeks or a few months. But where's she going? She's meeting her girlfriends for lunch. She's going to shopping at the mall. She has a doctor's appointment. And we always wanted to be have the Disney hangover. Okay. And what I mean by that is if you ever been to Disney, the next 12 experiences ruined it when you got home because no one compared to Disney. So we always wanted to be where, you were hoping, clients didn't just come from the spa because sorry about that, guys. For that reason, because we wanted to be the best part of someone's day. So that was always our North Star, to be the best part of someone's day.
And then from opening the salons, how did you get to write the book? Did you start the customer experience company from the salon and all that? How did you get the idea to write the book?
Yeah, everything was an accident. It was crazy. If we would have hung out and you would have told me I would have been in the salon industry, I would have given you 1,000,000 to 1 odds and said, no way. And then when we started doing really well in the early 90s in the salons, I thought we were going to open up one a week, all over the world. And people started asking me to speak, locally or in the salon industry in the early 90s because of our growth and our customer service. And so, I was flattered. But every time I spoke, 2 to 3 leads came out of that and said, do you do this for companies? And I was like, yeah. And then I'd figure it out to eventually where my first book came out in 2002, which took me from being a salon owner that spoke a few times a year to a speaker that owned salons. And really, I've been out of the salons, the day-to-day, own them, but really had nothing to do with them. And then the speaking and customer service consulting just blew up.
So could you give the listeners just a couple, viewpoints? Give us an idea of how do you create that customer experience? Like, what are some of the things that owners can do right now to start creating that experience for their customers?
So the first thing I love to ask is I think this is a great acid test. Mm-hmm. If you're to hire my son tomorrow, just graduate from college, to work in your company in a customer-facing position, how much training would you give him before you would allow him to interact with your customer, clients, guests, patients, tenants, whatever we may call them? So some people say 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. That's really not the answer I'm looking for. Here's the answer I'm looking for. Okay, of the 40 hours, 400 hours, 2,000 hours, of that, how much is operational, technical processes, and how much is a soft skill, building a rapport, showing empathy and compassion, making a brilliant comeback when we drop the ball. And in most cases, it's like 98% operational and less than 2%. And really that 2% might look like, if you're in my back room of, where we have lunch or whatever, and there's a big banner that says exceed customers' expectations. Well, that's kind of the soft skill training, right? Gino, go do that. Well, if you tell 100 people to exceed customers' expectations or go above and beyond or deliver genuine hospitality, you're going to get 100 personal interpretations. Mm-hmm. So that's where, you got to remove that. So we have to either first place, companies have to have significant soft skill training that remove personal interpretation. So I know you guys are big fans of Chick-fil-A. One of the things that they teach, they don't tell their employees to deliver genuine hospitality. Well, they might, but then they define what genuine hospitality is. It's the 5 E's: eye contact, enthusiastic greet, ear-to-ear smile, engage and educate. Okay, which all take less than 5 seconds. Eye contact, enthusiastic greet, ear-to-ear smile, engage and educate. Educate might just be you're looking for low-cal, gluten-free, whatever you're looking for, they're going to know and tell you and explain it and not make you go look at the menu and get lost in, something totally foreign to you. So, having that. So that's really how good any company is at customer service comes down to one thing, and it's the service aptitude, the average service aptitude from the president to the janitor, to the dishwasher, to the, person loading trucks in the warehouse. And the service aptitude comes from 3 places. And this is a paradigm shift because most leaders think it's common sense. Okay. And it's not. So the first place, our service, the 3 of us, our service aptitude got shaped. All our employees and all our future generation of employees is previous life experiences. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't grow up staying at 5-star resorts. I didn't get a Mercedes-Benz when I turned 16. I didn't fly first class. Yet my first job and every job I ever had since, they expected me to give world class. I didn't know what world class looked like, right? So you got to define what world class is. The second place that service aptitude gets defined is previous job experiences. And unless you have a direct pipeline to former Disney, Chick-fil-A, Nordstrom's, Ritz-Carlton employees, which none of us do, that means, the employees you're hiring have worked somewhere else that probably wasn't a world-class customer service organization, meaning they had someone that said, listen, our customers are out to take advantage of us. It's your job not to let them. And young Jake says, okay. And he does what he was told. Well, it's not Jake's fault. It's also not Jake's fault that, his best experience up to 19 or 21 was the Gap or the Red Roof Inn or whatever those things are. Mm-hmm. We can't control those 2 things. The only thing we can control is the third place is what we do with them once we get them. And that's, the training and culture we bring them into. So the best way I could wrap it up is it's not your employees' responsibility to have high service aptitude. It's the company's to give it to them. Just like I'm pretty sure if we had a high-end restaurant, we wouldn't throw anyone in the kitchen to prepare the food. We would certify them. They probably have to, same thing in customer service, whether we're answering phones, we're account executives, we're showing property. We have to certify them our way. So that was a long answer. Sorry about that.
No, I love that. I want everyone to write this down. The 5 E's. Number 1 is eye contact. Number 2, ear-to-ear smile. All of a sudden, the physiology changes. Someone smiles back at you. It's a stimulus response. It's amazing. The third one is an enthusiastic greeting. Be happy to see them, genuinely happy. The 4th one is to engage. And the 5th one is to educate. Now, in John's book, he writes around the 3 ways to educate with engage with employees. The first one, John, can you go over those 3 ways? The first one is incidental contact, so we can teach the listeners how to actually engage and use these 5 E's.
Yeah, so I might be coming up to get my next client, whatever the model is, my next meeting, my next whatever, and maybe it's Jake, but I'm walking by Gino. So we have a phrase that says beat the greet. This used to say beat the customer, but United took it literally, so we had to change it to beat the greet. And beat the greet means no one, coworker, UPS, FedEx man, or client, stranger, no one says hi to you first. Okay. So if I'm coming up to, if Jake is my 10:30 and I'm coming up and you happen to be seated next to him or walking by me in the hall, I have to, we call it beat the greet 15-5. If I come within 15 feet of someone, I smile and nod. 5 feet, I say something, right? So if I come up, good morning, great to see you again, welcome back, whatever. And then I go and introduce myself to Jake, and we do that. So beat the greet. Those are incidentals where you could be coming from anywhere, but imagine walking, and that happens at Chick-fil-A. Well, imagine walking and 7 people say hi to you first, right? Like you said, that changes the mood. Mm-hmm. That total people Jones Chick-fil-A, not because of the chicken sandwich, because they got something that they aren't getting anywhere else, mm-hmm. right? An energy, a pulse, a spirit. And that's what people miss.
It's almost
so
a feeling
much.
of safety and confidence. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. It's comfort.
Don't get him talking about the milkshakes. That's we'll stay.
Special occasions, man. All right.
Secondary contact. I like the secondary contact. Let's jump into that real quick.
Help me out. It's been a while since I read that section.
So I love it. Some type of support team, an assistant property manager, utilize the first 3 E's. Utilizing your eye contact.
Oh, correct. Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah. So in some the first one, incidental, I'm not going to do all 5 E's. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the first 3. Maybe not call you by name. I may not know your name. Right. Then the secondary is when we started engaging. You might be a invisible service provider where I'm supporting it. Receptionist checking you in, transferring you to mm-hmm. on the phone or via face to face. I'll let John know that you're here, and can I get you a cup of coffee? I believe that's what it is. And then yes. The primary is your meetings with me, right? Yep. I got to own you.
And this is what I want people to think when you're in the property management business. That secondary contact may be the assistant property manager. When you walk in, the assistant property manager greets you. The primary contact would be the property manager, would be the person that's doing all 5 E's with engaging and educating. What do you want to know? Can I give you a virtual tour? Can I give you education? Can I give you information on the product I offer? So having all those 5 E's, everybody, will really put you above and beyond, because I had a restaurant for years. And I wish I had known about these 5 E's. I wish I had beated the greet. How many customers came in and I didn't say hello? I was just too tired, or I didn't train my employees to do that. And even worse, when they said good night, I didn't say goodbye all the time. And I look at that and I think about that sometimes, and I really freaking regret it, because I thought I was in the food business. I wasn't in the food business. I was in the experience business, because people didn't want to stay home and cook. They wanted to come out and socialize. And I get that now. And if I had gotten that 20 years ago, I'd have 100 restaurants. So I'm glad I didn't get that back then. But it's amazing, everybody. Let that resonate with you, because it's really important. You are not in the food business. You are in the people business. And that's what I think it's really important. What I've had that paradigm shift. So, want anything to that?
Yeah, I do.
What else? Gino, you bring up something else. So I might be visiting your property, right, as mm-hmm. a potential tenant, whatever it may be. And yeah, I apologize. The salesperson, whoever the terminology, they might be all over it, but I'm walking by and the maintenance person's there in uniform and doesn't greet me, or he or she's having a smoke and talking with each other as I have to say excuse me to get around. Like again, go back to that atmosphere. And everyone's introducing themselves. Oh, welcome to our property, and you have a huddle and say, hey, we got some new people, tenants, potential tenants, whatever we call them, coming in at 10 a.m. Well, it's likely that if I'm there at 10 a.m. with my wife, walk around, they could be introducing themselves, and I'm Charlie. I handle all things regarding that. I'm blown away. Like versus, even this happens at every place. It happens at my salons. It happens at a doctor's office. You go down the hallway and you kind of have to, get by the 2 nurses talking, texting, and, sorry, I'm in your guys' way, mm-hmm. right? Everyone that you come in contact with, 15-5, smile, nod, say something. There's a pulse of energy there that I want to be around that more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing with that is you don't want to be walking a property, having a great experience with the property manager, and then you hit the maintenance tech and he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth like Slash from Guns N' Roses, and you got to kind of tunnel under the pile of smoke. So that's where it gets awkward, because that could be for a lot of people an uncomfortable situation. So you went from great on the front end to that secondary experience, and now it's waning very quickly in a short period of time.
And everyone's on stage. I got to go to I studied at Disney back in the 90s, and I got to go underground at Magic Kingdom. And Magic Kingdom is a hole underground where customers punch in, punch out, and take breaks. And this is a true story. I'm touring it, and about 15 feet away from me, Snow White's on break, smoking a cigarette, complaining about some guy. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is Snow White. A few moments later, she goes back inside, she freshens herself up, she punches back in, then she goes up these stairs and through these bushes, and she reappears on Magic Kingdom ground, and 15 little 5, 6, and 7-year-olds come charging at her. And she turns back, and this beautiful angelic princess signing their pads, posing for pictures. But 10 minutes ago, she was Susie Smith that was 22, that had a jerk for a boyfriend or a dwarf or whatever he is, right? And that's okay. But the key thing is that Disney teaches all their cast members, what on stage and off stage is. And the key mistake people make, okay, is they think they're on stage when they're doing that primary where you come up to my desk and check in. Well, no, if you can see and hear me, I'm still on stage. So you might now go sit and wait for, someone to come out and get you, the doctor, the nurse, whatever. But meanwhile, me and the other receptionists start complaining about the boss, that we have to work the Friday before 4th of July, the last patient who's such a headache. We're still on stage, right? If we can be seen or heard, we're still on stage. And that is so important in all our businesses.
John, I want to share a few more things from your book with the listeners, because I think the book, you all have to pick it up. It's called Customer Service Revolution. John says in the book, create a customer experience officer, a CXO. And that's what we're doing this year. By the end of this year, I freaking love that, because you're putting somebody in charge, and you want that person in charge to be the customer experience officer. I love that title. The second thing Jake and I were discussing last night, we love this. Change from a policy to a guideline. Give the employees more flexibility to address the problems. And I love that. We were discussing that last night, saying sometimes if you have a policy, it's so rigid. Whereas if you have a guideline, it's a little more fluid, where you can bend the rules a little bit and try to offer that experience that you were talking about. And I think the last one that really, I say moved me, but it was really powerful, capitalize all the customers. We have residents, capital R, students, capital S, members, capital M, and investors, capital I. They should all be capitalized and make them upfront. You want to share any thoughts from any of those topics I just?
Yeah, I love them all. Policy versus guidelines. We've all been guilty of it. Policy is one of the worst things you can do for two reasons. Number one, as your customer, right? And maybe I've been a long-term customer. I know you created policy to protect yourself from the masses. I'm not the masses, right? I've been coming here longer than you've been working here. I got your owner's number on speed dial, right? Don't throw policy in my face. I hate that, right? But number two, what it does worse is what it does to employees, right? It puts them in a box. It gives them handcuffs. No employee will ever go against policy, because there's rumors that the last person that went against policy got shot and fired and whipped and all that. And I found out the hard way, 25 years ago, people didn't no-show for their salon appointment on a Saturday. And that crushed us, because we could have filled that 10 times over. So we were going to teach them a lesson. And if you no-showed, we would charge your credit card, right? You have to call and cancel within 24 hours, whatever it was. Well, I get a call one time, and a woman calls me up, and she's 25 years ago, and says, I looked on my American Express, and I got charged for an appointment I didn't have last month. And she explains to me why she no-showed. Well, she called up, and that morning her husband dropped dead. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So sorry for your loss. Obviously, we won't charge you. She goes, well, that's what I thought, but I called your salon and I got the manager there and she said, sorry, that's our policy. And I was so embarrassed. And the person who did it, who enforced that policy, is still working for me today. She is a customer service rock star, but she was horrified at going against policy. I know it sounds, but it strips everyone of autonomy and ingenuity, and I can make his day. And I'm okay with getting taken advantage of. I don't think we do that often, but don't punish 98% of the customers for what you're afraid 2% are going to, try to get away with.
Mm-hmm. Love that. In the book, you talk about the 3 pillars, quality and expertise, customer interaction, and the third one, autonomy. That's really, those are really 3 important pillars. Can you expand on any of those? Or, because I think, like you said, the autonomy, if you put somebody in a corner, they lose their autonomy and they lose their ability to make great decisions. So I totally agree with you on that.
So we've helped, a lot of great companies create their service vision, which is their North Star. And so it's different from your mission and purpose. It's what each and every one of us that work for the brand have to do intentionally when we come in contact with someone. All right. And so that's your service vision. Just as important as the service vision is the 3 pillars. That's how you do it. So one is the expertise. No one better be smarter than you at what you do. You might be the receptionist, but at your job, you understand and know and all that. You might be the consultant. You might be, the engineer. The middle pillar is how you make me feel, right? That I'm not just next. I'm not apartment, 515. I'm not your 1030, and I'm not your venti soy latte, right? That I'm a human being that has, struggles, and this is really inconvenient, and whatever that may be. And then the third pillar is the above and beyond pillar, that you, as the 18-year-old hostess, can comp it. You can move mountains. You can do whatever you think. In my world, you'll never get in trouble for something you do. You'll only get in trouble for something you don't do.
I love that. Before we go to the short answers, a couple of the things that you said in the book that are really powerful to me. Always use people's names. And I love this quote. Don't ask the customer what they want. Give them what they can live without. I mean, that's real powerful right there. I mean, that's what we're looking for. Short answers?
Yeah. Let's take a quick time out to hear from our sponsor.
Are you looking for ways to improve your life?
Here at Jake and Gino, our mission is to empower students through financial education and the vehicle of multifamily investing.
Yes, Jake. We agree that a person with financial intelligence can change the world for the better.
We've created our proprietary 3-step framework, buy right, manage right, and finance right, that we teach to our community. This framework, along with education, our one-on-one mentorship, on-site boot camps, and the amazing community, has propelled our students to massive success.
We've all been there. We've had so many students that have been able to shift their mindset, overcome limiting beliefs, and set a clear path to achieve their goals. Whether you're currently fixing and flipping, wholesaling, or buying single-family rentals, and you know that multifamily investing is the right vehicle for you, I encourage you to visit jakeandgino.com/apply to schedule your complimentary consultation with our team. And I want to let you know this isn't a high-pressure sales call. It's really just a discovery call to get to know each other better and see if we're a good fit for working together. And if for any reason we're not a good fit, our team has tons of resources we will share with you to help you along your journey.
If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels, go to jakeandgino.com/apply and schedule your call now. All right, Jen, what is your best tip to create an advocate, customer advocate?
Is this off or on?
Oh, we're on.
Oh, all right. So we came back.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a very authentic show, and we're not going to cut that either because we don't care.
All right. Say that again, please.
Sure. Best tip for creating customer advocates.
I love this. I did a TED talk called "Meet as Strangers, Leave as Friends," and I don't believe there's anything more important in our life, a skill that we could work on every day that will have a bigger benefit to us more than in personal and professional. And that's the ability to build an instant rapport with others, be it an acquaintance, coworker, friends, client, total stranger. Yet it's not taught anywhere. It's not taught in school. It's certainly not taught at home anymore with devices and handing our kids iPads to babysit them so we can finish whatever we're trying to do. So I love to ask people, how many are of you, if I have an audience, how many of you feel that you're good at building an instant rapport with a total stranger? And everyone raises their hand. And I call BS, okay? Just because I spoke to you at Starbucks this morning for 15 minutes doesn't mean I built a rapport. I might have been talking about myself for 15 minutes, right? We're all genetically coded to be preoccupied, right? It's my flight, it's my salesman, it's my this, and that. Is this supposed to be a short answer?
No, you're good. Just keep rolling with it, man. It's about the content.
All right. And then I'll make the rest of them short. So here's how you prove me. If you meet my 3 boys, they know if I see them talking to you, that they're going to come back and have to answer what was Mr. Stanziano's Ford, F-O-R-D. Okay, they have to know 2 or more things of your Ford. If you know 2 or more things of the other person's Ford, you not only built a relationship, you own the relationship. Because to each and every one of us, our Ford is our hot buttons. It's what gets us going. It fires us up. Family, right? Is he married? Does he have kids? How old are his kids? Right? What activities? Occupation, right? What does he do? Who's he do it for? How long's he been doing it? What's his title? Recreation. That's a lot of people's hottest buttons, right? You're a runner. You coach Little League. You take hot yoga. You love to donate your time to a certain charity. And then dreams. What's on your bucket list? What's your dream vacation? What is your encore career performance you're looking for? So, we have these. I'm sitting there taking notes on you guys, right? This is our Ford, list, and it's in our every client of ours CRM system. You can customize, a Salesforce and add the Ford fields. So that I do that personally. I do it professionally, and no one can tell, right? That you're doing it, but it helps keep you off you and really focus on the other and be genuinely curious.
So one of my mentors said to me, to be interesting, you need to be interested. So if you take it from that perspective, God gave us one of these and 2 of these, maybe we should use it in conjunction and utilize the Ford. Everyone write that down. F-O-R-D. Family, occupation, recreation, and your dream. What is your bucket list? What do you want to do? That'll get people going, and they'll say they want to go skydiving. They want to go whatever they want to do. That's important. That is very powerful for everyone out there trying to raise capital. Really important. So just to build that rapport. Thanks for that.
Yeah. And learn it with your employees, right? I mean, it's so funny. We'll find out what our employees' dreams are. And sometimes they're like, silly to us, right? They might want to jump out of an airplane. They might want to swim. And, I got my good friend Gino who says, hey, John, if you ever want to, and I'm like, God, no, that does not interest me. But then I think, I got a employee that's been working with me for 15 years and that's her dream. And I call my buddy, hey, Gino, yeah, send her over. And, we try to be dream makers and help them check off those little things that are just favors for us that people that we know have no problem doing, but they would never dream that it could be possible to them.
So one of the things that we did during this whole coronavirus was we handed out toilet paper to all our residents and said, your Rand fam is here to make the best of a crappy situation. Any other stories or customer service tips that you've seen from some of your clients to kind of, just help out in this trying time?
And don't be short. You can be as long as you want on this one. So
I just think, just being there for people. I think in a non-soliciting sales pitchy way of like, hey, did you know that we have people that's so tone deaf right now? Being there, how we treat our customers and employees during hard times, they'll remember. And people are dying to brag, right? They want to brag about their boss, their company, their favorite business they do business with and what they did for them. So there was a lot of amazing things that, our clients had did. One went out to support all the restaurants that were closed. A credit union in Southern California went out and bought thousands and thousands of $50 gift certificates to all their restaurants, and then gave them away to clients, whatever reason. And they want to, obviously the clients appreciate, but all these restaurants changed over to them, because they're caring about them and driving business. Something that we did, if it applies to any of your customers. So we have an online training for CXOs, right? And stuff like that. And, companies pay a lot of money for. Well, we, repurposed it and are giving it away free to all small businesses, $5 million or less, that aren't part of a franchise. And, they could get it for free to help them reopen small restaurants, doctor's office, salons, whatever it may be, no industry specific. But hey, listen, as you reopen, train your employees on the 5 E's, train your employees on Ford. And so you can help, regain the momentum that may have been lost.
That's great. Any tools that you recommend for folks to use for systematizing your customer service? I know you mentioned a CRM, and it may not be rocket science, but I'd love to hear from you if there's anything that you or any of your folks are using to help really systematize this, because it's a lot of work and it's hard to stay organized at times.
Yeah. So, I mean, all our clients obviously use different CRM system, and we've never, from restaurants to the doctor's office to B2B, and we've never found a CRM system that wasn't customizable. So they've all gone in and added, Ford fields to it, and they didn't need us to do it. And now, your intake person, taking reservations, she might hear, when someone's calling about property, is there any soccer leagues? We're moving our kids into competitive soccer, or whatever, information that she might be throwing at you. Because a lot of times you don't have to ask for it, right? People throw it at us. They may call our salon and say, I need to change my 4 o'clock tomorrow, because my daughter's, has a recital, or, he's in a championship of his little league. Well, man, you catch that. And when she reschedules for Friday at 4, when she walks in, we're like, hey, how'd your daughter's recital go? And she has no idea how you know that. She doesn't remember mentioning that, right? So when you have it in a CRM system that, anyone, I don't even know where my cell phone is. It's somewhere. Before I have a call with a client, I could pull up their Ford, right? And be able to start off and say, how was your first marathon last weekend? Or, your trip to, your house in the Cape, or wherever that may be. So, and it's fun. It's not the transactional, boring pieces of the day. It doesn't take any longer. Right? There's always, I always say, fill the lag, and there's always lag, right? You call up and you want something, and I have to look it up, make an appointment. Well, there's time, so it's not like this is now taking an average call that's 3 minutes and making it 5 because I'm forwarding you. No, you build it in within the time, because there is lag where we have to make small talk, or hopefully we're making small talk because we're waiting for an appointment to pop up, or information that you're requesting, or anything like that.
Yeah, I love it. It's systematizing the soft skills with the Ford. It's kind of the epiphany I just had. It's really good. Yeah. Good. Any book recommendations? Favorite business book? Doesn't have to be customer service, but something that's made an impact on your life.
Man, I'm consuming my quarantine best practices. Consuming 2 to 3 hours a day, and it's not all in a row. And it's podcasts. It's books. And I've gotten into a neat. I've listened to 4 books. And I haven't been on audiobooks in over 10 years. For some reason, so here's my thing. When the quarantine happened, I started binge watching shows, Breaking Bad, and all these shows to try to fill the thing. And I have no problem with that. But the issue I got was I couldn't find a show that inspired me, that I wanted to. I didn't want to go make crystal meth and sell it, right? I did, and all the shows, they weren't great
There's probably a lack of customer
husbands.
service there, though. You probably could have
Right.
changed the game for these folks, man.
Right. And so I was really, I have no problem with the entertainment factor, but I like being inspired by the main character and that they're human and they make mistakes, but they're, now makes me want to be a better father, husband, all those things. So I started getting into I've always liked biographies, but I started listening to biographies. And I just did Shoe Dog by Phil Knight.
Oh, I love that one. It's so good.
Oh my God. Like it's so silly. I know how it ends, right? But I couldn't wait to get back in my car or go do another jog because I have no idea how he's not going to go bankrupt, right? Yeah. Even though I know he doesn't go bankrupt because the ending has already been, so I just did Michelle Obama's Becoming, Elon Musk's book. But the one I'm embarrassed to say is I read Howard Schultz's third book from the ground up. And now I'm listening to it, and I've never done this before, and I really like it. I'm listening to it, and at the same time, I'm reading it on Kindle. I don't know what it means, but I'm really
you're just trying not to miss a thing. That's what it means. You're
right.
I
mean, I really idolize who he is, his business mentality, where he came from, very humble beginnings. And but his social responsibility and how he attacks what's going on socially, which upsets his shareholders. They're like, listen, you don't have to be supporting gay marriages. That's hurting stock prices. He says, well, you made a 38% return on investment last year. If you think you can go find it somewhere else, I invite you to go sell your stocks. I mean, I love that kind of, boldness that he takes, and he's not being a puppet to make sure he doesn't ruffle any feathers. He believes what he believes in, and he's not afraid to address it.
Wouldn't it have been awesome if he was a Democrat nominee for the president? That would have been a great nomination because he's doing what you say. He doesn't ask the customer what they want. He gives them what they can live without. That's what he's doing. He's creating an environment for people to hang out, to enjoy themselves, and that safe space to come in. So that would have been really interesting if he had.
I wanted him to.
Yeah.
I had fears because I was afraid what people would dig up on him. Right. Mm-hmm. You don't want to find that the guy you put on a pedestal.
He's my boy. Don't ruin him.
Oh, exactly. I would. I'm not into politics, and I would be his campaign manager. I absolutely would.
That's great.
What project are you excited about right now?
Because of the quarantine, I love the quarantine, for how it forced us to pivot and focus. I think a recession's a horrible thing to waste, right? I think, I love recessions, and everyone's like, oh, you must have, those types of businesses that do better. No, I don't. I have 3 businesses. None of them do better in a recession. But why I love it is my competitors do so much worse. Right? They're not prepared for it mentally. They're not, and it's like a business enema to me. It just does a good cleansing of shitty people that shouldn't have been out there giving our industry a bad name. So what we're doing is the DiJulius Group, our mission is to change the world by creating a customer service revolution. And we've been doing it the last 20 years, but there's been a limitation to how many companies we can touch. So we're launching our CX coaching brand, CX Coaching, and it's licensing coaches to go out and teach our methodology.
All right.
So we're really excited about that because we have a lot of chief experience officers who've been evangelists that really have drinking the Kool-Aid, and they've always wanted to come work for us and stuff. And sometimes we just can't take everyone that wants to come work for us, but now they can own their market and really help, awesome. Change the world by creating a customer service revolution.
So if the G-Dad wants to leave me and then go out there and start being a CXO here, how can folks get a hold of you if they want to take the next step?
Just email me, John at the DiJuliusGroup.com, and I will. We're just getting the stuff up on the website. We're officially launching it in January. So I don't know if anything's technically up there. We do own cxcoaching.com, CX Coaching Global, but I don't know if the site is active, but it's coming really soon. But, any questions, John at DiJuliusGroup.com.
And John, what's the main platform, the main website for
DiJuliusGroup.com.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, we have a big customer service revolution. We put on the customer service revolution conference every year, and it's so cool. We get 700 people from all over the world that come to Cleveland, and we've done it 12 years, and we've just had crazy speakers. Well, obviously this year we've had to pivot it to virtual, and no one knows this yet except for a few people on my team. I don't know when this is airing, but just signed them in the last 24 hours. Our line, we have 20 speakers, but some of the names: Seth Godin, Guy Kawasaki, Jesse Itzler, Ken Blanchard. I mean, the lineup is sick, and no one even knows that lineup yet. So depending on when this goes public, a bunch of others. I'm leaving out obviously 15 or 16 other speakers, but
so that's what he's excited about, Gino.
I'm excited. Yeah. And our theme is reimagine, revolutionize, right? Because we all got to reimagine the new normal now.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. What else you got, man?
So there's a few things. We just scratched the surface of John's book. Honestly, I want everyone to go down. We're going to have a link in the show notes to buy the book because, I mean, there's so much content in it. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention these because he has a never and always in the book. And it's really important. I love this. Never point. Always show them. Never say no. Always focus on what you can do. Never say no problem. Always say my pleasure. Of course.
Chicky flicky, baby. A little
right?
Chick-fil-A right there.
Never overshare. Just take care of it. And don't say, I don't know. Say, let me find out.
I love that.
So if you miss those, go back and rewrite those and write them down because it's really important. And I'm going to say these always because I love these always also. Use customer name at least twice. Number 2 is smile. Number 3, say something positive. Enjoy your weekend. Nice glasses, whatever it is. Say something.
Smile is part of the uniform. And you'll see what kind of boss I might be. We send people home for being out of uniform. Like I'll go up to someone and say, Jake, you don't seem happy. And he's like, yeah, I am. You are? Yeah. Tell your face. Your face has no idea, right?
That's awesome. I love that. Number 4, he said it. Beat the greet. Always greet the customer first. And number 5, ask, is there anything else I can do for you? And like I said, everybody, I scratched the surface. You need to read the book. If you want to level up your game in customer service, go out and pick up the book. Mr. Stenziano, what you got?
Now, I just want to say thank you. I love this stuff. It's, I truly believe this is, I reference back to our blue ocean. This is what we work towards every day. Look, the apartment space is hard. I know our listeners are all multifamily investors and they're doing it the right way. And it's really the separating factor. If you don't want vacancies and you want to be able to get what your apartments are worth, you have to deliver on the service end. And it's the number one priority. So, John, thank you so much. Look forward to finding out more about your conference as well.
My pleasure. Is there anything else I could do for you guys today?
That's all.
Hey, is there anything we can do for you? Because it'd be our pleasure. John.
Take care.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, guys.